Okay guys, this is just going to be a quick video about how to make cold approaching something enjoyable for you, and how to effectively manifest it into your life. So cold approaching is one of those things that we all know this kind of thing where you see a hot girl, you go over to approach her, and then if she says yes or no, it doesn't really matter because you just feel gassed that you've asked. This really summarises to me what's so great about doing a cold approach, because it just stops you if you don't do that, you see a hot girl and you don't really go over to her, in any scenario that is, even if in your head you're thinking, oh no, it would be inappropriate for me to go up to her, you kind of feel a bit bad that you didn't somehow. You feel like a bit of a coward that you didn't. And so cold approaching can get you over that, and it can make you think, oh no, it's just a fantastic way to I said this in another video, it just makes you more happy, gives you more positive. You're turning sort of negative emotion into positive action, and that's an analogy for a lot of things. Maybe you're sitting on your arse, like, oh man, I should go study. I should go do some work, and your sort of guilty part of your mind's telling you oh, you need to go work, and kind of soft people today will be like, oh, don't worry about that. That's a bad part of you. But part of what I think Andrew Tate's so successful is he says, no, that's your body telling you to do something. Go and fucking do it. And then you feel much better doing the work, even though it's horrible work and you don't want to do it, than you ever felt sitting on the computer, I don't know, having a wank or whatever you're doing, and it's the exact same thing with cold approaching. It's just turning negative action, negative emotion into positive action. So realising this is quite important for a long-term attitude to a cold approach. Realising how much of a positive thing it is that you can do it, and how sort of you just feel so great after a cold approach. It's so fantastic. So getting that sort of cycle into your head is very important. Starting small is the other thing, and with low expectations. So I've talked about this in another video, maybe I'll leave a link, to just say, I've always said that cold approaching isn't actually about going on a date with any of these girls. It's just about changing your attitude to your fear of talking to women, in the most convenient way possible, which is to just go over to them and ask their number very flat out, and I don't know, this isn't the best way to sort of talk to a girl, I'm going to be doing some videos in the future about sort of good cold approaches that I think, because there's one in Top Boy that I saw, and the first season of Top Boy that's really interesting, so I'm going to do a video about that for you guys, but just generally cold approaching, I'm not at a standard where my cold approaches are any good, I know that, but it's just converting that into just starting somewhere, just getting in the habit of doing it, and getting used to that sort of discomfort is really the aim of the game. And that way, if you view it like this, rather than just getting girls, or rather than actually as a way of getting girls, you'll be much happier, guys, because you'll think, it's always a success. You doing it and conquering your fear, going up to a girl and asking for a number is always a success, even if she rejects you, even if you fumble the bag, even if she doesn't text you back. It's all net positive. So that's the second thing to think. And the third thing to think, and this is really a game changer, and this is something I actually haven't done. But I can really see how much it helps, and that is to get someone to do it with you. Obviously you're not going out to the same girl and doing it, but if you're going out with a friend, it's good to get a sort of competitive element of like how many girls' numbers can you ask, and like, because I think it's good for you and it's good for them if you do that. And you don't have to do this in a very formal way. In fact, you know, I wouldn't really recommend it. You know, like you go and like, who can get the most girls' phone numbers? You know, you don't have to do that. That's maybe a bit sort of, bit too sort of nerdy. But what you can do is just be like, I'll buy you a pint if you get a girl's number tonight, and stuff like that. Just kind of, that gets a sort of competitive atmosphere going, which will block out a lot of the pain and sort of discomfort of doing this sort of thing of this cold approach. It will block out much of the discomfort of doing it because there's a competitive element to it, and competitiveness, it taps into something really deep in a guy's brain. I don't care who you are, like if you're a guy, you definitely have this kind of competitive edge, and if your friend asks for one girl's number, then you're like, oh fuck, I've definitely got to do it now. And then it's like, well, I mean, I know I sort of was joking about that earlier, but it ends up being a sort of competition about how many numbers you can get. And More Plates, More Dates, who's like a YouTuber, said this as well. Like, that's how he started. His friend kind of got him into it. And I think that's so true. So, like I say, you know, you don't have to have like cold approach buddies. I mean, if it works for you, that's great. But it can just be as simple as like little bets with each other as to, you know, how many girls can you talk to in a night, and you'll really see your progress flourish if you do that. So, trying to think if there's anything else I was going to say. Well, that's the bulk of it, really. Yeah, just having the right attitude to it as well. You know, don't worry too much about whether the girls are into you or not. I think you often find that you won't, because you'll just be excited about asking, and also, like, if a girl doesn't text you back after you message them and stuff, like, don't deep it. You know, go back to what I said before. That's not really what this is about. You know, it's more about getting yourself comfortable with doing it, and then, you know, there's on to the next stage of like, you can just naturally flirt with girls, and that's where I think cold approaching really comes. The lessons from cold approaching really pays off, because yeah, it's just it's a bit of a turn off for girls if you're not comfortable flirting. I know people like First Man say that you shouldn't worry about this kind of stuff. You should just worry about becoming attractive to girls. I do see that, there is a point to that. You know, you do need to do the other kind of work. If you're not a good look, you know, if you're not built well, if you're not dress sense isn't sorted out, for whatever way you don't look good, you need to sort that out as well, and you'll get more results. But don't sort of worry about that as well. Worry about that as a separate thing. And when the two come together, then that's where the magic really happens, guys. So thanks for watching. I hope you found this helpful. I'm gonna update you guys on what I'm sort of thinking with cold approaching in the future, because I can tell this next few months is going to be a great time for my my self-improvement, and particularly cold approaching. I can really see it taking shape over summer. So thank you for watching.